Good, yeah.
Yeah.
Should I put a mic on?
The cameras.
We're good?
Yeah.
All right.
This one picks up better.
All right, sweet. Then in that case, I'm ready to get started. Welcome to my session. Today, I'm going to talk through what I do for students and careers and prompting and what that all kind of looks like mashed together. So starting off, I do want to show you this QR code. Feel free to scan it if you are interested. This goes to a folder with our guides. I just show this first because really students are going to refer back to this to refer to different types of prompts that we've prepared for them. But ultimately, you can go to the Career Services website and look at any of our AI tools, which will also lead you there. I just did this because it's easy, and we have 20 minutes. But functionally, please, once again, refer back to all those prompts. It's going to tell you how to use them functionally. But one of the most useful things is like thinking through the job search structurally. Like, what do you do? And what are some problems students typically run into? So I often run like parts of AI workshops in classrooms or for certain student groups. And one of the things that students really have problems with is identifying a specific job title. So they have these skills, they have some interests, but they're not really sure what jobs they should even be looking for to begin with. So how I typically start off one of these workshops is asking the students information about them. And then we build a prompt together to start to generate specific job titles that they can use to research. So let's do that together now. So I recommend every student starts off the prompt by giving the role to the chatbot. So I say act as a career coach, which is kind of funny considering I'm the one typing it, right? But you can use like director of a career services center or something. As long as you are giving it a role, is going to give you better output. So we have act as a career coach. Next up, I want to know maybe your major. So what kind of major do you think we should use?
Those aren't working.
This one should be, but go ahead.
All right, which kind of major should we use? What's your major? Really anything's fine.
Business.
Business, all right. So now we put in, I am a business major. And then I always ask some type of involvement or a project the students worked on. So what kind of project might a business major work on, or what type of org might they be a part of? Or what's something cool that they've done, like their internship, for example. Got any data we'd like to use? This is the part, the more we put in, the better the response is going to be.
Developed a marketing plan and I'm part of American Marketing Association.
So let's say, and I'm also going to spell not great because it's totally fine in the prompt window. I'm part of, what was it?
American Marketing Association.
American Marketing
The
Association.
student club.
And
I've developed marketing plans with a team in my class
I've developed marketing plans
and presented a quest day.
as part of a team in my class and presented findings at Quest. All right, that's pretty good. We have quite a bit of information to work off of. This is a good base level.
Yeah.
You can put in really not great information to start off, and you're still going to get some pretty good output. As long as you put in that major and at least one interest, then we're in the right spot.
I had again.
Yeah. All right, so now that we have that, what we want to do is we are going to put in a request, which is we're looking for specific job titles. You can put in a certain number. I highly recommend at least 5, a minimum of 5 different job titles. And sometimes if you're doing a bigger search, you can do 10. One thing that is kind of effective and results with interesting output is if you ask for 5 traditional job roles or traditional titles for this student, right? For advising, right? And then 5 non-traditional job titles are something they would not have thought about. So if you get even more into it and ask about specific interests, including like fishing has been a very interesting one where they bring in like 5 different types of fishing careers and how they overlap with like communications. So it can get really, really detailed.
Let's just switch now.
Yep. Are we still good? I think we might be. All right. Can I get to this one now? All right. So we're going to say generate an example. 5 traditional job titles and 5 non-traditional titles. This is enough to generate 5, or rather 5 each, so 10 example job titles. Let's see what we come up with. And this is all live. I have genuinely not seen this output before. This is how I do it in a classroom, student-facing wise. All right, and then I have students follow along, so they should be generating their own job titles currently. Like right now, if you are actively engaging, you'd have your own example 5. I do keep it at 5 in that case. I tell them, please pick a job title. The one that sounds the most interesting to you. Marketing coordinator, not surprising based on what we put in, right? Brand assistant, market research analyst, account executive, social media specialist, traditional job titles, right? These non-traditional ones, I don't know what's going to come up, but typically they're quite interesting and they do engage students quite a bit. So product marketing manager, honestly, still traditional in my opinion, so maybe not the best output for non-traditional. Customer success manager, all right, it could work depending on how they're marketing their application. Same with growth marketing, conversion rate optimist specialist, right? Now we're getting like really specific job titles, which is part of why this tool is useful, is you can get a very specific job title and search based on that. So sometimes a student will pull like conversion rate optimization specialist. They didn't know about that title before, makes it easier to search on the other side. Let's see what else. We got employer branding specialist, business development rep. Honestly, these are all quite traditional. Depending on your input, like I said, it can get a little bit stranger, and you can find more in different types of careers that you haven't seen before.
I'm also part of Del Start.
Yeah, something like that. Dancing is a big one, actually, that students say, and it does come up with very interesting performing art overlap with a lot of careers. So definitely try that out if you are interested. But let's just pick one. I mean, this isn't going to be maybe the most exciting, but let's pick project marketing manager. I know there's going to be a lot of roles to look up based on that. So I have the student copy the most interesting job title to them. In this case, maybe it's project marketing manager, right? After that, we take that job title and we go to some type of search engine for jobs. Everyone knows Indeed, so I use it as the search function. This could apply in LinkedIn. This could apply in Idealist, OLOS, whatever search function you want to use. Indeed is the biggest, so it's the easiest to demo for sure. But if we take our job title and paste it in there, I have the students do this, right? So they're actively looking. I tell them that they can put in wherever they want. I just do a bigger search. Let's even just do New York, because I know there's going to be tons of opportunities there, and do a search. And then I have them pick one, like pick a specific job function that is particularly relevant to them. And or they just find it interesting, like, hey, I would love to have this job one day, right? Ideally, they're picking something that is achievable. So for example, I would say this first job is probably not that entry-level role they're looking for, right? And we can easily tell based off of lots of different things. Typically, the salary is a good indicator that this is not an entry-level position. But we scroll down, we can see a bunch of different opportunities. I say pick one that you like. Project manager, that's right where we're at. We had project or product marketing manager in there. Perhaps we choose the product manager role. Maybe it's not the entry level, but for the purposes of this, let's click on this. If we scroll down, the key part we're looking for is in this full job description, right? So students can read through, check out the job description, see if it's something that is interesting to them. I give them a little bit of time to look through and find the one that is the most interesting. They choose that. So once they have selected, they're going to copy this full description. So all the way down, that's pretty good. We copy that, right? So now we have a full job description copied on our clipboard. And we're going to hop back to our Gemini window. You can run this in the same window. It shouldn't affect your output, but you know, these models change all the time. I don't know. Just in case you're worried about that, you can start a new chat. And so we have our job title. We probably should have actually stayed in the same chat, but we're going to say act as a career coach again. So we have our role. Once again, super important to have the role. And then we say generate an example resume bullet, for example. It could be a bullet, could be a resume bullet section, whatever you want to call it, or description, all this stuff. It's going to generate resume material. This is what we're going for. So act as a career coach, generate an example resume bullet section for this job description. I put a colon just because I can delineate in the prompt. This is where I'm pasting the job description. And then we paste in that entire job description into our chat and send it. So super simple prompt, right? We can get more complicated. This is for a demo purpose. And I do say that, hey, the more information you put on here, so actually, let's look at the response and then I'll tell you what I tell students. So here's a tailored high impact resume bullet section, mirroring the exact phrases, tools, and cross-functional demands outlined in blah, 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 right? So they've taken the actual job description, they've generated specific bullet points based on an example job. So once again, super important as a student, you are not going to have the position that they're generating bullet points for. That being said, the bullet points are going to be effective bullet points to show to an employer so that you can edit based on your actual experiences. So we have a bunch of really important skills that they're looking for out of this job description that has been pulled out by AI. Very easy to break down, I would say, and then put in your own words based on what you've done. If you want to go next level, once again, this is typically only like a 20-minute workshop. If students have a resume to match to this job description, I do recommend students use the actual resume and say, hey, take my actual resume. And if you do that, please take off your personal identifiable information and all that stuff. But you can say, match my resume to this job description, in which case, these outputs are going to be even stronger and dialed into what the specific student is using to generate, using their resume to generate specific job description matches. Yes.
There's a recommendation a little bit further down that I think is wonderful, and that is, yeah, when you drop this in after, try to add quantifiable metrics wherever possible.
Yes. Yep.
So important.
So once again, because we've put in the role of career coach, they're going to give you career coaching style tips sometimes, which is highly useful, right? This is something that I would tell the students typically.
Great advice.
I don't have to tell the students if it's in the window, but I do, of course, once again, reiterate it because students aren't always reading what's in the prompt. But yeah, I always say like quantify it in specific ways, and AI is not going to be able to do that kind of thing because they don't know your numbers functionally, and you have to come up with that data to put in to begin with. So this gets you close to what you're actually wanting out of it. And you could, like I said, change these bullet points a little bit and fit them into your resume in the most appropriate way. But I do highly recommend students actually use this type of prompting and match it to their resume. And one of the most important parts of this conversation, showing them this, is to talk about applicant tracking systems and how they function in the job search in general. So if you haven't heard of applicant tracking systems yet, functionally companies use a machine to check your applicant materials, and they scan it for specific things like keywords, right? And one thing that AI is super effective at is matching the keywords that the applicant tracking system actually wants. So that's why I highly suggest putting in your actual application material, specifically your resume in this case, and saying, hey, match it to this job description, because when they use the ATS system to track through your job application, they are looking for those specific keywords in that job description and give you a number percentage match. And what happens is the earlier you submit, the higher you are on that ATS list. And the higher your percentage matches, the higher you are on that ATS list as well. And functionally, time is super important, which is another reason I'm advocating for the use of AI for this generation, is because if you can apply within the first 48 hours, you are much, much more likely to get the actual position because you are ranking higher on these applicant tracking systems. And it really is that first 48-hour window. After that, it goes out to about 2 weeks. And then after 2 weeks, you have diminishing returns on your application, right? So speed is important, and this helps you get out more applications quicker that are tailored, because if you do not tailor to those applicant tracking systems, a human might not even see your application. And your goal is to get to that human, and AI is really effective at getting those keywords that the machine wants to see so that you can actually get to that interview and sit down from somebody. But yeah, this is a great way to do it. And like I said, you can upload your resume in a bunch of different ways, and then say, hey, tailor it to this job description. And really, this demo is just to walk students through that. Typically, depending on how good their inputs are, they could have bullet points that are generated right here that they could use to update and populate the resume, or see what it might look like if in a good example, right? So some students don't even have an idea of what the resume should look like or what a bullet point should look like, in which case this gives them the framework to add their own information and data and generate that material. All right, talked a long time. Got a few minutes for questions. Any questions about this kind of framework or process? Yeah.
So we tell students all the time how important it is to network here, because you're going to get information about opportunities that may not be public just yet. But I wonder if there isn't a way to combine this to say something along the lines of, take all my friends in social media and find out if any of those friends work for a company that's hiring in the field that I want to find. And then you reach out to those firms. Hey, I heard that there's this job opening at XYZ. Do you know anything about it? Or could you perhaps give me some insight? It's the kind of thing that would just be impossible to do on a friend by friend basis.
Yep.
But you could have an AI do that.
Yeah, there's a lot, and this is very specific type of prompting. And I have seen it effectively done for a LinkedIn search, for example, a very highly pointed LinkedIn search. And there's ways outside of the prompt window to find certain contact information, to have more of a robust networking outreach plan, which AI is actually quite good at. I would say it's hard to do in a workshop effectively, but if students come meet with me one-on-one, it's much more effective that we can make a plan for that. So definitely, people are already doing that, and it's really cool, actually.
LinkedIn Learning has a curve up now.
That's new too, yeah. I'm not super familiar with where that's going, but I'm excited to see. And I do mention that kind of stuff to students all the time. LinkedIn Learning, you should have access, more access than normal, which is great. So use your Oswego email and check that out, because there's a lot of really cool and helpful career stuff and upskilling that you can do, especially in that AI space if you're interested. All right. Any last questions? Any in the chat? All right. Well, thank you, everyone. That concludes my workshop. Good to go. Awesome. Thank you.